scenario where we have a stagflationary environment. I think the economy is going to cool off.
I think the market has been pricing a recession since the beginning of the year.
Is that the US economy will go into recession by the middle of next year.
Recession gets you worried? Not so fast. Are you geared up to transform challenges into chances? Even though the economy may be unstable, there's a hidden wealth that's ready to be discovered. Number 5. Investing in liquid business. You know, when the economy takes a downturn, it's not all bad news. Sure, things like job losses and less spending can happen, but it also opens up some interesting opportunities. One of these is putting your money into what we call liquid businesses. These are the kinds of businesses that can turn their assets into cash pretty quickly and without losing much value. Think about your local convenience store, businesses that operate online, or even fast food joints. These are all great examples of liquid businesses. So, even in a recession, there are ways to make smart moves with your money. The first thing you would want to do is look for liquid businesses that are still doing well, even with the economy in a downturn. You'll want to find ones that have a lot of customers, don't have a ton of overhead costs, and still have a good profit margin. So what's the next step? You'll want to take a closer look at their financials. This means checking out their balance sheets, income statements, and cash flow statements. You're looking for businesses that have strong cash flow, aren't drowning in debt, and are still profitable. These are the kinds of businesses that are likely to weather the storm of a recession and come out on top. Alright, so after finding one, it's time to put your money. You can invest directly by buying shares in these companies, or you can go to the indirect route by investing in mutual funds or ETFs that focus on these types of businesses. But remember, don't risk everything on the success of one venture. Spread your investments across different liquid businesses to balance out your risk. And don't just set it and forget it. Keep an eye on how your investments are doing and don't be afraid to make changes as needed. It's all part of the game. Do you have any debts with high interest? Try to clear those off as soon as you can. Also, don't forget to keep investing regularly. It helps you benefit from something called dollar cost averaging. Number 4. Using the gig economy wisely.
If you've ever used an app to order a late night food delivery or book a plumber, then you've most likely tapped into the platform economy. It's one of the most important new transformations in the world of work, and right now the big debate in Europe is over working conditions.
So you know how these days a lot of work is about short-term gigs instead of traditional 9-to-5 jobs? That's what we call the gig economy. Believe it or not, it can be a goldmine, especially when the economy is in a slump like in 2024. The first thing you've got to do is take a good look at what you're good at. Once you've figured that out, you can hop onto platforms that hook you up with people who are looking for exactly what you've got to offer. So, when you're figuring out what to charge for your work, you've got to think about a few things. Firstly, what's the going rate for the kind of work you're doing? You don't want to price yourself out of the market, but also have to consider your experience and the quality of your work. Another super important aspect of the gig economy is networking. Make sure you're connecting with other folks in your field and keeping up with the latest trends. And don't just rely on one type of gig or client. Try to mix it up and have different sources of income. That way, if one gig dries up, you've got others to fall back on. Plus, always be learning and updating your skills. The gig economy moves fast and you've got to keep up. Oh, and one more thing. Gigs usually don't come with perks like health insurance or a retirement plan, so you need to plan these for yourself. Make sure you're setting aside some money for any healthcare costs and invest in a good health insurance plan. And don't forget about your future. Consider setting up a retirement plan. Remember, building wealth in the gig economy takes time and effort, but with the right approach and determination, it's definitely achievable. Number 3. Considering precious metals.
First of all, and I'm going to define precious metals to keep it simple for gold and silver. Okay, yeah. It could go past there, but that's the most common. And there's good points and bad points. So the good points of investing in precious metals might be that they're a hedge against inflation. So the last 2 years, when we saw inflation go, the government said about 9% or something.
So a recession is tough for the economy. It's when things like the GDP start to go down and more people are out of work. Businesses aren't as busy as usual and people aren't spending as much as they normally do. This means there's less demand for stuff, which can hit businesses hard. They might not make as much profit, and sometimes they might even have to let people go or cut back on production. It's a rough time all around. You know, when the economy hits a rough patch, like during a recession, that's actually a good time to think about putting some of your money into precious metals. They're like a haven for your investments. They've been trusted as a solid store of value for ages. And the cool thing is, when everything else is uncertain, the prices of these metals usually stay steady, or they might even go up. So it's like a safety net for your investment portfolio. So you know how people have always seen the precious metals as a kind of safety net when the economy goes south? Well, that's true, but how they perform can change depending on different things. Take the 2008 financial crisis, for example. During that time, the price of gold really shot up because investors were looking for safe spots to park their money. When it comes to investing in precious metals, you've got quite a few options. Gold and silver are the usually go-to choices, but don't forget about the underdogs like platinum and palladium. They could be worth considering too. Now, how you invest in these metals can vary. You could go old school and buy physical metals like gold bars or coins. Or if you're more into the financial side of things, you could invest in things like ETFs or mutual funds that follow the price of these metals. It's all about keeping an eye on what's happening in the market and adjusting your investments to match. Like if things are looking a bit gloomy, it might be a good idea to put more into safe bets like precious metals. Remember, investing in precious metals or any other asset class comes with its risks. It's important to do your research and consider seeking advice from a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. This guide provides a general overview and may not be suitable for everyone's financial situation. Always invest responsibly and within your means. Number 2, keeping away from debt.
That we refer to as the national debt is really nothing more than an accounting record.
Debt becomes a trap due to overspending, lack of financial planning, or unexpected expenses. However, during a recession like the one in 2024, it's possible to build wealth by effectively avoiding or managing debt. The first thing you've got to do is manage your money. That means making a budget that shows what's coming in and what's going out. A budget is like a roadmap for your money, and it can help you spot areas where you might be able to save a bit. Next up, you want to start building an emergency fund. Think of it like a safety net for those uh-oh moments like unexpected bills. It can stop you from falling into debt when life throws you a curveball. Living within your means is also super important. It's all about resisting the urge to overspend and sticking to what you can afford, which might mean cutting back on things you don't really need. Last but not least, make sure you pay all your bills on time. It's a simple thing, but it can save you a ton in late fees and interest charges. Number 1, taking recession as an opportunity. When the economy isn't doing well, like during a recession, it can be tough. But when you're ready for it, it can also give you some special chances. One of these chances is investing in the stock market. When the economy is struggling, the prices of stocks usually go down. This might seem like a bad thing, but if you have money to invest, it's like there's a big sale going on. You can buy stocks for less money than when the economy is doing well. The best part is, when the economy gets better, and it always does, the stocks you bought for less could be worth more. So a recession can actually be a good opportunity if you're prepared. You know what's fascinating? A recession, as tough as it can actually be a great time to kick off a new business. It might sound surprising, but it's true. A lot of successful businesses have actually sprung up during recessions. Think about it. There's usually less competition and resources can be a lot cheaper. So if you've got a solid business idea, a recession could be just the right time to bring it to life. And that's not all. Real estate is another area that can turn into a gold mine during a recession. Property prices tend to fall when the economy is down, so it could be a fantastic time to invest in real estate. Not only could you end up with a steady flow of income, but there's also a good chance that the value of property will go up over time. Becoming rich during a recession won't happen overnight. It requires patience, discipline, and a well-thought-out strategy. But with determination and perseverance, it is definitely possible. Don't let the recession spoil your plans. Take the chance. These 5 methods could be your way to become financially free. Comment with your thoughts on financial security, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.